Hi guys, welcome back to the Humble Gamer channel. I am the Humble Gamer, and this is some more of my Sodor Snippets series. Now, this is something I actually recorded for you guys 2 years ago, but the video was in such a bad state. I don't know why it happened. I think I was using different recording software or something like that. But it was in such a bad state that it was just not worth saving. So I just thought I'd re-record it for you here, and we are doing the Sodor China Clay branch from Brendam in the south of Sodor. Let's see where we are here. Starting here at Brendam. I've still spelt that wrong 2 years down the line. And we are now going to run all the way up here. It's about 5 miles, I think. We stop at the collecting sidings here, and then we reverse into the main situation. But first of all, I'm just going to show you Brendam docks. There have been updates on Brendam docks. I've gone for, this is one of the few areas I've gone for a very modern railway series look with the 3 tracks, and there I guess is cranky if you watch the modern stuff. Yes, I need to reorder some of the scenery, but that's not an issue because obviously I had issues with this route when we updated to Train Sim 2019, I think. There were lots of issues with it. But anyway, without much further ado, let's get the locos ready to go. Yeah, about 4 miles up to the collection sidings, and then about a mile further out. These models again you can get on sodortrains.net, I think it is, or sodorrails.net. It's in the description down below. As far as I'm aware, it's still going. I don't know how supported it is by the developer anymore, because I know that he took a gap because of school, because he's a student that does all these models. So I don't know exactly how fully supported it is as a website anymore, but nonetheless it is still there. But here we are, going past the small engine sheds here at Brendam, and passing the small goods yard as well, with now outdated stock for what I'm going to use on this route, as I mentioned last week, in the updated Northwestern Railway rather than Sodor Railway setup of the route. I'm just going to turn that down in my headphones so I'm not shouting at you all, because since I last set up these routes, since I last set up these scenarios, there have been other routes that have been created, things like the Stainmore route, which you may or may not be seeing at some point. He says, hastily checking his schedule. Yes, I think. Yes, maybe. No, maybe. Spoilers. But yeah, so I need to. That goes to 35. Ah! I'm back. Lots of things happened all at once. That was very odd. I don't know how much of that will actually come through on the video, but there was a lot of stuff that happened there. But either way, yes, we are now out. There is Brendam town. Most of it is up on the hill with the docks and the goods, the freight sort of area down there. A couple of large ships coming in. And yeah, and then we're heading on to the branch. Now the branch it's dealt with by the Reverend Awdry in a lot of his works, and it's used in the railway series quite a lot, particularly in some of the more modern movies, like, for example, the one with the dinosaur. I can't remember what that's actually called. Something to do with monsters, I think. What on earth is going on with my chair? Sorry. This isn't a piss take video, I promise you. I am actually trying to do this seriously. Oh god, there we go. So yeah, again, in the real world version of this route, these will be done by the 040s that you can get from It's either Dovetail Games, Steam, or Cujo. I can't remember. But there's an 040 saddle tank pack, and there's a gold saddle tank in there, which work quite nicely. Although it should be mentioned that I may also end up using the Bill and Ben faceless models that you get when you download. They are free. I should point that out. They are free. You don't have to spend any money. But when you download these models, you do get a Bill and Ben faceless option, which I may end up using for here. For the Sodor, for the Northwestern Railway version, not the Sodor version. Check the previous video, number 9, the main line, for a full explanation of what the difference is between the Sodor Railway and the Northwestern Railway in my head. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the scenery. This is one of the more recent bits that I've done. I'm genuinely quite pleased with the scenery here. Yes, and there's this path that runs all the way along that will eventually go down to the beach down there, which I haven't actually put the path in yet, but it's one of those paths which is a train spotter's nightmare, because you come down here thinking, oh, I'll get a glimpse of Bill and Ben, and then, yep, look, there they go. Wonderful. You could probably see more through the branches in real life, but yeah. And on the other side, there are the marshes. Now, the marshes aren't mentioned by Awdry, but they are mentioned by Christopher Awdry. In fact, there's a level crossing at some point where Thomas gets quote-unquote scrambled. I don't quite know that story. I haven't read any of the Christopher Awdry stuff, really. Or you should get on that. But yeah, and there's where the path goes down to the sea. A bit of water texturing needs moving there. But yeah, so yeah, over this side you've got the marshes and the wetlands and the fens, which is actually, you know, I think it kind of works for this sort of part of Sodor, because it is right on the coast. It's obviously very much based on the Great Western Railway Cornish China clay industry, but I don't actually own the China clay for export route, so if I did, you can bet your bottom dollar that there would be assets from it in here, but since I don't, there ain't. To put it bluntly. Get that out of it. Oh, actually, the cursor can go up there, can't it? Because the cursor is now behind my face. So that's not an issue. But yeah, so yeah, this is one of those bits of route that is, I've designed it in my head. It's very much, it was a functional route rather than a scenic route, and that's partly a design philosophy from me, because I think at the time I was doing the thing, I was quite tired. So this has not got quite the level of detail that some of the other scenery has at different points in Sodor, which you will see some of the updated scenery when I do my Islesborough to Wellsworth revisited video, which will be coming up not next week but the week after. Next week you are getting the Mountain Railway, which is an old pre-record that was recorded about 2 years ago. So yes, we're now coming up to, we've gone past Beach Lane Crossing, which is the lane. We're just coming up to Sea Marsh Viaduct, because there's the sea, there's the marsh, and this is some kind of viaduct. So you can, and also you might notice this is also a slight homage to a similar-ish looking bridge in the TV series, which I believe that they go over. So yeah, like I've said before, this is not necessarily designed to be a straight copy of anything that Britt Allcroft or Mattel or Hit, may they long be cursed, ever did with Sodor. This is very much my interpretation of the map. So I guess you could call it a fan project. But it's not designed to emulate any specific version of the map, even Awdry's versions of the map. I don't want it to look too much like any of the paintings that people like Dolby did. Or the I've forgotten all the artists, they've just gone, I used to know them. But Peters? the husband and wife team. I think their last name were Peters. Anyway, yes, we're now going underneath the Roseworth Wells Bridge, the Wellsworth Road Bridge. Those are on our long sort of approach, and that's creepy. That's creepy. I'm inside the cab and look around and and from the other side, you can still see me. I'd forgotten that. That was a thing that happened with these two. But yes, so now we're approaching the actual China clay pits. And what we have to do is we have to go in front ways and then reverse for operational reasons. I don't know. Just seemed like a good idea at the time. It's also how it looks on the map. In fact, I will show you just on the map on that side, I think. That way, maybe that way. Somewhere on the screen now you'll see a map of Sodor, and it will then zoom into this particular bit and you can see the formation of the route. So yes, we now need to brake. Not exactly rushed braking, but we do need to brake, because otherwise we won't stop and we will crash. But yes, I'm genuinely quite pleased with how these bits have gone, because again, this is scenery-wise, it's actually quite easy. You just put a load of the rocky outcrop stuff. And make sure it's tall enough that you can't see over it. Because, for example, there's no point in putting scenery anywhere else. Because even if you go into the outside number 2, which is actually on the front of Bill rather than in the cab of Ben. Sorry, on the front of Ben rather than in the cab of Bill. You can't see over it, so from a route builder's perspective, these things are great. And now we're reversing. As you can see, we are here. We now have to reverse into the head shunt up there, which is where the loco and which is where the water and the coal is. But we'll do that in a moment, because I want to show you actually. I'm not going to drive the locos all the way around because there's lots of sidings, and this video it would be a bit dull to just chug around all the sidings, because sidings are sidings. I can show you those. But yeah, so here we go. We're reversing now. As can be seen from one of the ends of the very back. Of the brake van. That's the word I'm looking for. Not with it at all. Turn that down. Turn that down. But yeah, so now as you can see, there's a bit of quarried stone everywhere. It feels like they've dug in. I want it to feel like this has been dug into the hills. And I think overall I've managed to succeed. Now I should point out the scenery around the clay pits is most definitely still WIP. This is not a finalised version of this route, but it is. If it was to be released, I'd be happy with it, but it's still not quite perfect. Not the level of detail that I would want it to be at. So therefore it is still technically a work in progress. But yeah, here we are entering the China clay quarry. As you can see, I've put the rocks down. There's no people, there's no machinery yet, really. There's a few sidings. In fact, I can show you the extent of the. That is the extent of the China clay works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pit heads. Don't know if they would call them pit heads in a China clay quarry, but that's what I'm calling them there. So that they're going to stop, so we can leave them there. Get that out of the way, and then I can show you. So yeah, here's what we've got. Move the cursor out of the way. Here's what we've got. So yeah, these are all fairly standard loaders. With some standard machinery around it. This is a model I love. I think it's a cement plant, but I use it pretty much everywhere. Every goods area, every industrial area, because I love it. It's also, I enjoy buildings that you can put the rails through. I haven't done that here, obviously, but Obviously put that through there. The rocks need sinking into the ground, but you know, these things happen. Then you've got the main section here. This is a weighbridge made out of a half-built house, which I feel like comes from the Darjeeling and Himalayan Light Railway route. I think that's one of their assets, but I could be wrong. That's available on UK Train Sim, which I believe is linked in the description below. This is where they drop off the workmen in the brake vans, and then this is the head shunt where you've got the coal and water and stuff. And you've got 3 more pit heads over here, all with varying degrees of technology and industrialization and perhaps different parts of the process. I don't know China clay processing. I'll probably look into it and come back to this area at some point. But then one little thing I'm sort of semi-proud of is if you come along here, because this happens in a lot of quarries, and I quite like the idea of it happening at a China clay pit as well, is if you come up here, there's 2 disused sidings because the pit has flooded, which obviously you see a lot of. So yeah, I quite like this. I might I'm going to do something more with this. I think I'm going to use these as just empty stock sidings, particularly if you're or for sorting if they're doing longer trains and stuff. So yeah, but I'm quite proud of that. And obviously, it needs detailing. This is what this part of the route needs. It needs detailing rather than finishing. The scenery's there. It just needs a lot more detail. But either way, we can just finish off this scenario now by dropping the 2 engines back into the final thing. So yeah, that's how the China clay branch stands at the moment. Like I said, it's still work in progress in quite a lot of areas, and it's still there is work to be done. But I quite like it, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. And thank you genuinely so much for... This is the first video I've recorded since it happened, because obviously a lot of this stuff is pre-recorded. Thank you very much for the 500 subscribers. Something will be happening about that. There will be a video, but obviously at the moment I'm pre-recording a lot of this sort of stuff. So, as it stands, there is no video for that. I don't know what I'm going to do for it, but I'm going to do something special for it. You'll get it in September. Probably one of the first videos back in September. So yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. If you are enjoying what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. Check out Train Sim in the description below. Check out the rest of my Sodor Snippet series in the description below. Check out my Train Sim Workshop series in the description below. This is all still part of the Steam Festival, Summer Steam Gala, which is actually, I remember now what we're actually calling it. Like I said, in videos that you're going to see after this one, they're pre-recorded before this one, and so I didn't know what I was calling it. But the Steam Summer Gala, so yes, do double check out all this sort of stuff. Check out the Train Sim developers in the description below. Check out the Sodor, the website where you can get the Sodor engines from, down in the description below. And other than that, thank you ever so much for watching. As we jump to the... I stopped at 2 out of 2 destinations. I did it properly. Oh, hold on. Speeding errors twice. Passenger freight comfort level exceeded 0.002% of the time. Yeah. Yeah, 5 miles. So it's not a massive branch line. But anyway, yes, thank you ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. I was me. That was my Sodor route on Train Sim 2020. That was specifically, it was the China clay branch line of Bill and Ben. See you very soon, guys. Goodbye. We're now heading to the titular station of Crabbenmore.
It's the worst restaurant menu ever.
Crabbenmore.
It's like that bloody Monty Python. Spam, 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 spam.
We are not gaining speed. No matter what I do, I've put sanding on. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, that helps. The handbrake was on. Suddenly everything is explained.